All right, y'all, welcome back to episode number 4 of the Rags to Richness podcast, where we tell other creative entrepreneur stories in hopes that it brings some motivation and some inspiration to y'all as you're on your journey. I always say that we don't have a roadmap for what we do. So my goal with this is just to have conversations with really talented and driven people in hopes that it gives y'all a little bit of a guide. So I'm Nehemiah Wilson, your host. Y'all know me already. It's episode 4. If you don't, you can follow me right here on Instagram. Tap in with me if you want more of this type of content. But enough about me. Let's learn about our wonderful guest, Martin Olivier, fashion designer, fashion brand owner, and not just some of these Atlanta people who print on Gildan t-shirts, but someone who actually designs and handcrafts his stuff. You're not in the lab with it, in the factory, you're not actually making it. But I don't need to introduce you. I'm gonna let you introduce yourself, whatever you wanna say to everyone at home.
What's going on, y'all? My name is Martin Olivier. I'm a creative director, stylist, professional basketball player too also. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah. Since I came to Atlanta, I've really been on the scene as far as fashion and things of that nature. And I'm coming off an injury too. I sprained a tendon in my lower back, So I've been focusing on that thing, so I really haven't been uploading that much content on my social media as far as basketball. But yeah, I really get busy too on that, But yeah, man, I'm just happy to be here.
I'm happy to have you, bro, for sure. This is gonna be a good conversation. You and I met at the shoot with Amari Noel. You were styling for her shoot, right?
Absolutely.
You were just around. She wore one of your pieces, just one, right?
Yeah, just one.
The one that's actually on the screen up there, the green cardigan. It's a cardigan, right?
Yep.
I want to make sure I'm respecting the pieces.
No, absolutely.
But yeah, you styled her. She looked super dope. And then we just got to chopping it up and just talking for like 15, 20 minutes. We was locked in just talking about random stuff. So I was like, I need this man on the podcast.
No, facts. Yeah, it was a dope conversation.
Yeah, so tell us more about what you do, bro. Like, this is the question I always start with. Like, what do you do? That gives us a good leeway into, what we could talk about next. But just tell people who don't know about you. I know you said creative director, fashion designer, all of that. But when someone comes up to you and says, bro, what do you do? How do you answer that question?
How I answer that question now is, first off, I just say I'm a stylist. I feel like that's who I identify myself as of right now. I mean, I'm always love styling. I'm always love being a stylist, but when it's all said and done, I want to be just more than that. But I feel like it depends on where you at in life is how you define yourself. You know what I'm saying? You started off doing music videos, but now you're doing podcasts. So you add into your name, you add into your brand. You know what I'm saying? So you might want to define yourself as something different at a different point in time in your life. Yeah. So I just introduced myself as a stylist right now, just because I'm from Chicago. I'm in Atlanta now. I'm not in NBA, so I'm pretty sure if I introduce myself as a basketball player, you know what I'm saying, that people won't even really be that familiar with me. But if people look at me up and down where I'm in the room, I'm pretty sure if I say I'm a stylist, they go, oh, okay, I can see it. You know what I'm saying? They're going to want to look into it and things like that. So yeah, that's how I identify myself.
Yeah, this is something that a lot of us run into in this city and really around the United States. Like, we're so multifaceted. And it's like, how do we introduce ourselves when people ask, what do you do? Because we do a lot of stuff. We were just talking off camera about how we do everything right now. And we're starting to think about hiring people and stuff. But as far as the core of what we do, we're in so many different pockets, right? So what's your thought process as far as I know you just said as a stylist, it's the easiest one that people can connect to. It's obvious that you are a stylist, but why that one over professional basketball player, all these different things? Do you think it's too difficult to talk about all these things? Is it just easier to lead with you being a stylist? Dig into a little bit more of that reasoning.
Yeah, I like to define myself as a stylist because, yeah, that's easier to sell to everyone off a physical look. You know what I'm saying? Now, when I start to create those personal relationships with, different people, then that's when I get to learn more about me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But just for upfront purposes, I'll just say, yeah, I'm a stylist. And I feel like I have a pretty attractive look once you look at me. So, you know what I'm saying? Okay, he's a stylist. Okay, let's network. Okay, I have this shoot coming up. Okay, I have this show coming up. Okay, we can work together. Okay, now we getting meetings, and now you getting to know me as a person. Yeah, I play basketball too. Okay, well, I have an NBA player who might want to be in some of your clothes or who might need a stylist. Okay, now we can talk about those lanes. You get what I'm saying?
Yep. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
You mind grabbing your phone real quick just so it's not buzzing? Appreciate it. So with the styling piece, you just feel like that's the strongest part of you right now? That's the easiest to lead into different opportunities and relationships, or?
I don't feel like that's the strongest part of me right now.
Okay.
But I feel like that's the easiest thing for me right now.
What's the strongest?
I feel like the strongest part of me is having a sense for art. Yeah, when I say having a sense for art, I mean as far as designing pieces, as far as creative directing an event, creative directing an event, styling someone, you know what I'm saying? I like using the camera too, like, you know what I'm saying? So I have my own camera, I have my own technology, and I have my own setups and things like that. So just architecture and I like doing a lot of stuff with that. So yeah, that's basically what it is for real. Like, I'm just real good with art, man. I love art. That's why I play basketball. Basketball is an art. Absolutely. I love music. I identify myself to music. If I'm going through some of the toughest times of my life, I look like, you know what I'm saying? Like, when I was going through one of the toughest times of my life, I got over it just because I was listening to someone who was kind of like delivering the same messages that I was going through. So it made me not feel alone.
Right.
And that's that's how you know that you're a great artist, when you can touch somebody on more than just a physical level. You get what I'm saying? So yeah.
You mean like a surface level, like, oh, this song hard, like I'm just bumping in the car.
Yeah.
But you connect to like a life experience that they're
Absolutely.
going through.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Is that something that you want to do with your art holistically?
Is what? Just touch people on a deep.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure. When people look at when I leave my stamp on people, I don't want people to just look at me as a person who just does fashion. I want people to look at me. I like Virgil gave a great Ruji. Ruji is my favorite creative director. You know who Ruji is? Ruji is the creative director for Rude. He's the owner and creative director for Rude. He's also the creative director for Bally also.
Rude as in R-U-E? Or is that something different?
Rude. You know what the
Rude.
Yeah.
Gotcha. I just heard you wrong.
Yeah, his name, the clothing line Rude. Ruji is the creative director / owner for that brand.
Gotcha.
And I feel like he's leaving his mark as more than just the owner and creative director for Rude, because now he's getting bigger endorsements as far as Valley and, you know what I'm saying, other things that I'm pretty sure that I haven't found out about yet, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, he's doing a great job at that. So, you know what I'm saying, I kind of like get inspired by those types of people, and, you know, I just move based on like what I'm inspired by, to say. Yeah.
So you look up to a lot of these people. Do you think like, what would this person do in this situation and kind of move that way? Or do you just kind of look at like certain moments they might have hit and aspire toward those?
So I feel like everybody's journey is different. So I don't kind of base my journey off of or how somebody else would think. That's what makes me me. You know what I'm saying? So I kind of keep my thoughts and movements original. I just simply just get inspired by what they're doing. And you know what I'm saying? It's just like, okay, I see that he's doing this and I see how he did that. Okay. So I know what direction I need to go to. I just need to put my twist on it.
Gotcha. Yeah. So is that something conscious you do? You're like, say like Ruji did something and you're like, oh, he did this. He made these type of shoes. Are you also gonna make shoes, or do you take pieces from that shoe and help it influence, say, like a cardigan that you make or something like that? Like, what is that inspiration process look like for you?
So what I get from him is don't put yourself in a box. You know, like
So it's more like high level principles that influence this, like how your art comes to life. Instead of like he did shoes, I'm doing shoes.
Exactly. Yeah.
Gotcha.
It's like he got jewelry, he got clothes, obviously, he has shoes, he has everything now, you know what I'm saying? He just did a photo shoot in a gas station, you know what I'm saying? And he created, directed the whole thing, like, you know what I'm saying? And it's just dope, you know what I'm saying? So I kind of get inspired by those things, and I see those things, and it's not like, oh, okay, I need to do a photo shoot in a gas station, but it's like, okay, I just know I need to think outside the box if I want to be different, and if I want to keep elevating, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So yeah, that's what I get from those types. That's how I get inspired from those type of people. Yeah.
And are those messages really obvious? Like, are they saying, hey, be your own person, you know, do your own thing, or do you just pull those messages out from the way you see them operate?
Me personally, I feel like it'd be obvious. You know what I'm saying? Like, I grasp things on a deeper level, and I feel like most creators and artists do, as far as like fashion and things that have to do with just clothes in general. You know what I'm saying? If I saw a shirt, like if I saw this shirt, somebody might be like, oh, hey, I like to how that shirt fits on you, but I might look at the shirt and be like, yeah, it might fit on you well, but the quality isn't that good. You know what I'm saying? And that's the different grasp of it. You know what I'm saying? And that could be the difference of whether you sell a shirt or not, or that could be the difference of the next level. Like somebody might buy that shirt this collection, but just because of the material of it, they probably won't buy the next collection just because they know that your material is poor. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I just think of a different level of things like that.
So you're saying you think past like one thing. You're thinking more long term, or am I missing what your point is?
Yeah, I think long term.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, and the example you just gave, but the shirt, you're not thinking just about like how to get one sale and make it like look good on people. You're also thinking about the whole experience surrounding
Absolutely.
what you're pushing out, right?
Yeah.
I think that's a great way to describe the first impression that I had on your stuff, right? Like when you were showing me some of your collection before it dropped, you had Amari and one of the cardigans. I definitely realized, like I said to everybody at the beginning, you're not one of these people who just are printing on Gildan t-shirts and trying to make a bunch of money with e-commerce. You really care about the craft and the experience that people have surrounding your clothes. So what would you describe that experience as? Like what experience are you creating for people through your clothes?
I feel like it's just love and passion. You know, I feel like 2020 created a wave of entrepreneurship.
It really did.
You know what I'm saying? And entrepreneurship isn't a wave, it's a passion. You know what I'm saying? Because when you self-invested in anything, you have to fall in love for it, or 9 times out of 10 you'll fail at it. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes people stop doing it because they don't get the sales that they got. Sometimes people get tired of it just because of what they're going through in life. But when you're going through stuff in life and you're doing what you truly love, life doesn't, you know what I'm saying? You usually don't let life grasp what you love to do. You get what I'm saying? Like, if I'm a basketball player, boom, I'm on a professional team, I'm in college. Just because I do bad on assignment don't mean that I'm not gonna go get in the gym, because I know that the gym is my peace haven. And it's been at times, you know what I'm saying? So, I just feel like it's love and passion. I feel like that's the difference between a lot of clothing lines or just self-investors failing and succeeding. You know what I'm saying? So, it's just a lot of love and passion, man. I don't think about the money. I don't think about the sales. I don't think about the cloud. I don't think about none of that. I just do what I like to do. I just do what I love to do. And that's why I feel like I get the feedback that I get. And I just be myself, you know, like throughout my whole life. Like I've never been a type of person to fit in. I've never been a type of yes man or none of that. You know what I'm saying? So I was blessed enough to not go through a lot of the things that certain individuals go through because I was always just myself. I never cared about what people thought about me. And I feel like you go through different phases of your life, right?
Definitely.
So like early on, right? So I really started to get into fashion in college. And I was always into sneakers and stuff like that, but I will uniform in high school. So I'll just focus on my shoes and my jackets, you know what I'm saying? Because we got to wear
That's all y'all can
khaki
wear.
bottoms and blue tops, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, but once I got into college, I started like dressing a little bit, you know what I'm saying? But I was always ahead, and people conceded I was ahead, but they didn't know that I was ahead. You know what I'm saying? They just thought I was like, oh shit, my phone.
It's all good.
People always knew that I was ahead, but people could see that I was ahead, but they didn't know I was ahead. So I would wear something and they would be, yo, Martin, bro, like, why are you wearing that? Or, oh, you got on them skinny jeans, but they too tight. Or you got on them big jeans, they too tight. I'm like, nah,
And that
bro.
was when, like middle school, like around there?
Nah, this was in college. Like, this was in college, bro. Like, I went to HBCU. I went to Central State University in Ohio. And I'm going to school with, like, a lot of Midwest people. Like, and I'm from Chicago. And it's a lot of Detroit, you know what I'm saying, people there. And one thing about Detroit and Chicago, they're very invested with designer. They just think designer is fashion, you know what I'm saying? And designer is not
that's
fashion.
here too, Atlanta.
Yeah, Atlanta too, also, and that was my biggest curve thing that I learned about Atlanta, like, because I was staying in Ohio beforehand, and when I moved here, I was just questioning, like, man, I know I stand in Ohio, but when I get to Atlanta, I know it's a lot of people doing the same thing that I'm pursuing. So how would my impact be in Atlanta? When I got down here, it was still the same thing. People still looked at me the same way that they looked at me when I walked in rooms in Ohio as Atlanta. And that gave me all the confidence in the world. It's like, no matter where you at or where you from, if you supposed to stand out, you're gonna stand out. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, just I love and passion, just being myself is how I got to where I am today.
Yeah, that's dope, bro. I'm gonna say this out in the air before I forget. 2 things about standing out. 1, how is that useful to your brand? Don't answer that yet. And then 2, were you always like this? Let's start with the were you always like this, because I want to dig back into like who you were as a child and stuff like that. Because I was homeschooled until 9th grade, and then homeschooled from 9th grade until like I graduated. So I did this co-op thing where I went to school some days and then was home for other days from 9th to 12th grade. So I always struggle with standing out and feeling like an outcast and not with the in crowd. I was very sheltered, so I didn't know a lot about pop culture and music and stuff, which is kind of cool that I'm working in this now and catching up. But I still deal with the fact that like I feel like I'm behind because I'm not in with what everyone else is doing. So I want to ask you, like, what would you say to someone like that who's like I want to fit in, like I don't want to stand out. Standing out is uncomfortable, or I feel like I do stand out and I'm uncomfortable with it. Like, what would you say to those people?
I feel like it depends on what you want to do with your life, on whether you want to fit in or where you want to stand out. You know what I'm saying? Because it's always a role for everybody in every situation. You know what I'm saying? That somebody who want to fit in can work behind the scenes of a big artist. But if you want to stand out, you can be that big artist. You get what I'm saying? So it just all depends on what you want to do with your life. That's, you know what I'm saying? And from day one, everybody always saw it in me. Like, everybody always knew that I would like amount to something just because I always stood out in some way, whether it was basketball, whether it was just not getting in trouble. You know what I'm saying? I'm from Chicago. I really from Chicago for real. Like, I grew up in the trenches, but I ain't finna just sit up here and say like I was just going around just doing all the stuff that my friends was doing.
Yeah.
And I stood out because of that. It's like, okay, you know what I'm saying?
Tell me more about that before we move on. Because I was just talking to my previous guest, and he was talking about that too. And I'm starting to see maybe a pattern with people like us. We don't really just go with what everyone else is doing. We're like, that's cool. I mean, I'm happy it's working for y'all. And sometimes it's not. Like, we don't see the longevity and gangbanging, that type of thing. We're going to go this way instead, right? I grew up in the suburbs, so I didn't grow up around that, right? But talk to me more about that. Like, why did you decide to go this way instead of that way?
What's crazy is, like, I wasn't even scared of the consequences behind doing stuff that they was doing, like all my homies was doing. I just know I ain't want to follow up under nobody. So most of the time they was doing stuff, it's like I ain't trying to be like y'all. Like,
you were just trying to be different.
Yeah,
for the sake of being different, just because that's who you felt you were.
Yeah, for sure. And then I know by the time like I really like was, you know what I'm saying, like hanging around outside, you know what I'm saying, in the trenches and stuff like that. I started at the same time like I was doing, I started to notice that I was real good at basketball. You know what I'm saying? And then I had an older brother, and he was in the trenches. You know what I'm saying? He was really in the streets and stuff like that. So like,
so you saw firsthand like what that life was like.
Yeah, for sure. Like firsthand, like, you know what I'm saying? And it wasn't really like my brother. Yeah, he tried to influence me to, you know what I'm saying, not go his route. But I'm not an easily influenced person. So if I want to do something, I'm gonna do it. Don't matter who tell me what. You know what I'm saying? That's always how I've been. But it was more so like, yeah, I just don't want to be like y'all. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't care if y'all doing what y'all getting out of what y'all doing. If it's something good, negative, like, it just ain't me. Like, I don't want to be, I don't want to follow up after that. You know what I'm saying? And I matured fast. You know what I'm saying? I was going through a lot of stuff that made me mature fast, and it just opened my eyes up even more. Like, then, you know what I'm saying? It should have when I was growing up. You know what I'm saying? So it was hard. You feel me? But I ain't gonna sit here and say I ain't make mistakes, because I was bad. Like, I got in order. Like, on some real stuff, like, I really got in order, I'd say, when stuff started getting real around like 7th grade.
Okay.
Like, that's, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah. That's
when it was getting trenches. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it ain't just like kids just going out throwing rocks at people's cars. You know what I'm saying? We did that. 6th, 5th grade, I was doing that. But when stuff got like, you know what I'm saying, like real treacherous, like, you know what I'm saying, like people just doing all type of, it's like, all right, I ain't doing all that now. We was doing
cool
that
with the little rocks, but
I ain't doing all that.
Serious now.
Nah, I wasn't going that route, and I know that I wasn't going that route. So yeah, that's just, you know what I'm saying. It's just I always have my own mind.
Yeah, where do you think that comes from? Do you think that's just who you are? Do you think your upbringing helped shape you to be like that?
Yeah, I just feel like it was who I am. Yeah, I got a younger sister and an older brother. You know what I'm saying, and you know what I'm saying. We all went through things, but like, I just felt like. You know what I'm saying? I just felt like I was just different. Like, not from my sister. I'm different from my sister and my brother. Like, we all different in different ways. You know what I'm saying? Like, my sister had a kid in high school, and I love him to death. I love my sister and my nephew to death. My brother dropped out of high school. You know what I'm saying? Love him to death. He's doing great. Both of my siblings are doing great. But I graduated from high school. You know what I'm saying? I graduated from college. You know what I'm saying? I played basketball at the pro level. You know what I'm saying? So we all had our different parents. We all had our different roles of life. We just all ended up successful in different things. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I just always had my own mind. Always.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I'm just asking because I know there's some people that are like, you know, nature versus nurture, like where does it come from? And I feel the same way, bro. Like, I'm the oldest of 3, so I have a younger sister and then a younger brother, but we're all pretty close in age. And I've always felt different, like, but different in a good way. So not with the homeschooled stuff, but different in the sense of like, I know where I'm going, what I want to do, and I'm gonna go get it regardless. And I think that mindset is just, I feel like some of it has to do with how you are as a person, maybe your chemical makeup, like who you were created to be, and then like also a mix of your circumstance. Like for me, I've always just been a kid who is like, I'll do whatever it takes to get what I want. And my parents encourage that. So I feel like that combination of stuff just pushed me to where I am now, to have this unwavering confidence and faith in me and what I can do, you know? And that anything that I can look for, I can achieve. So is that something similar that you had growing up, or were you always pretty independent when it came to your drive as a person?
I would say I was more independent. Like, I'm the middle child, and I don't know how other people's experience was as a middle child, but like there were certain battles that I felt like I dealt with that my brother and my sister didn't deal with. You know what I'm saying? And you know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like as growing up as a middle child, not saying that my mom didn't show me love, because she showed me love, but I feel like sometimes when you're a middle child, there's a hard balance between your mom still has to show her first child love, and she still has to show her oldest child love, because, you know what I'm saying? It's just a battle. And then I was the only one that grew up without a father for a point. You know what I'm saying? I ain't have a father growing up, so, you know what I'm saying? I had to make a lot of choices independently. That made me independent right there. You know what I'm saying? Right. My mom couldn't be with me every step of the way of my life, so I knew that. So I had to just make a lot of decisions on my own. And yeah, I'm just happy that I'm happy. I don't regret nothing about how I grew up at all, because it, you know what I'm saying? It made me who I am today. And I still have flaws, but I embrace them. You know what I'm saying? And I work on them. So yeah, that's basically what it is. I just grew up independently, but it made me who I am today. So I'm kind of happy about it.
Yeah. And then coming back to your brand, like how does that self-independent, self-drive influence how you create? And why do you think that sets you apart from other brands?
Can you ask that question again?
Yeah, so we're talking about just independence and being self-driven, right? And just your confidence in who you are. How does that influence how you create? I'll just ask it like that.
How does it influence me on how I create? I just carry a confidence about myself, and you know what I'm saying, and a certain level of arrogance. I feel like when you're doing anything self-invested, you have to have a certain level of arrogance, or you will get lost in who you are, and as in that field, I would say, you know what I'm saying, because there are a lot of people doing a lot of stuff in whatever field you want to do. Yeah. That's self-invested, so you have to have that self-confidence and that self-arrogance. So I just intertwine that with the love and the passion that I have for clothes. And I just, okay, I see that he doing this, I see that she doing this, okay. I know that they're not me, so I know that whatever I put out is gonna be nice. I just gotta make sure that it's me. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, that's the only thing. I feel like a lot of the times people put out things, not just even, you know what I'm saying, designers and even artists who make music, they put out things that's not really them, and they don't get the feedback that they want to get, you know what I'm saying? But sometimes people can sense that it's not you, you know what I'm saying? Like,
that it's not authentic.
It's not authentic, it's not you, you know what I'm saying? And that's why a lot of artists get penalized for putting out some of the music that they put out, because people know that it's not them, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, I just feel like it comes out of like me just knowing who I am as a person, and just coming with that confidence and that self-arrogance.
Yeah. When you say arrogance, because I know that word is very negative to some people. Like when people think about arrogant people, they think about people who's like, I'm that nigga. Like you walk in a room and you tell people you that nigga. But I feel like confidence is like believing that internally, you know? So is that what you mean by arrogance? Or do you mean like walking in certain rooms and like letting people know at the same time?
I said self-arrogance. So self-arrogance. You could walk in, there's a difference between you walking in confident and be like, okay, I got this. You know what I'm saying? But when you walking in that room, man, I ain't even worried about what they got going on. I know that. That's self-arrogance, but you ain't letting people know that you saying that you feeling that way. You know what I'm saying? Of course, but it's just the self-arrogance, and it's okay. I feel like I really don't like when people try to like limit how people should feel about themselves. If you want to say that you're self-arrogant, if you want to say that you cocky, if you want to say that you confident, let that be who you are. And I feel like a lot of people be unhappy in life just because they want to change the narrative on who they are. Why do you have to change the narrative on who you are? Why? Just live, just know what I'm saying? Just accept who you are. If there's something wrong with who you feel like, if there's an area that you feel like that you need to improve in that area. But you living for yourself, not for what people think about you. You know what I'm saying? So that's when I say self-arrogance. Like, yeah, it's just a tremendous amount of confidence to sum it all up.
Yeah. So you were always this type of person to be like, I know who I am, I know what I want, I'm going to get it. Like, you never struggle with like, who am I don't know what I want to do. People want me to kind of go this way, and I want to go this way, but I'm not really sure. Were you always just like, this is me, this is what I'm doing, that's what we're doing?
Nah, I can't say that. So just being honest, just being like very transparent, I felt like a lot of athletes so I was in college, I was an athlete, started everything. But there's a realization that a lot of college athletes go to, which is, I'm not going to the NBA. When a lot of college athletes realize that they're not going to the NBA, it's like, okay, what do I do now? You know
so you were aiming for the NBA.
Yeah,
I'm sure a lot of people at that level are.
Absolutely.
So where did you land? What professional league did you land in?
I was playing in the TBL, and I had a couple different contracts, but I messed my back up and stuff like that. So, you know what I'm saying? I've just been chilling. But
what's the TBL?
The professional, the basketball league. It's like a step under the G League.
Gotcha. Yeah. I don't watch basketball like that. So
it's a real good league. It's a real good league.
Yeah.
But I felt like I found out who I was when I found out who I was outside of basketball.
So that happened after you realized you weren't going to go to the NBA, or after you hurt your back?
Nah, it happened in college.
In college, okay.
It happened in college when I started like really like dressing and really getting into fashion. I realized what my other strong points was in life was just fashion, you know what I'm saying? And I feel like a lot of athletes struggle with finding out who they are outside of basketball.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
I mean, you put your whole identity in this thing.
Exactly.
You have to get to that level.
Exactly.
So that makes sense.
Yeah. It's like when you put your, you know what I'm saying, you self-invest you put everything into one basket your whole life, and then when that don't turn out, it's like, what do I do now?
Yeah. And even who am I?
Like, who am I?
Did you struggle with that, like kind of an identity crisis a little bit, or you were just kind of like, let's pivot?
Nah, I ain't struggled with it just because of the fact that I'm not a person who overthinks anything. I don't really think about, I just roll with the punches. I don't really think about a lot of stuff because I feel like that's what creates depression and things like that. So it just rolled out, and it just happened in front of my face, honestly speaking. Like, you feel me? Like, I was playing basketball, boom. I pledged Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated at Central State University, Dr. Z chapter. And after I got off line, after I crossed over, man, I was just getting like my feedback from like, cause you know what I'm saying, I wasn't getting dressed like that. So once I started back getting dressed, it was just like my feedback was crazy. You know what I'm saying? And after that, it was just like, okay, yeah, this it. Like, you know what I'm saying? This is it. Like, you know what I'm saying? And I kept it bottled in just for so long, just because I felt like people were still looking at me to, you know what I'm saying, play high level NBA and overseas, you know, like all that, you know what I'm saying? So I kept it bottled in.
Yeah.
But then after I graduated, I just embraced it.
So it's just like a snap, like you graduated and you were like, all right, let's just go.
I mean, I was still playing. Like, after I graduated, I still played professional, but I was juggling both lanes.
Right.
But then, like, I had to understand that it's hard to master two things at once. You know what I'm saying? Like, even when you think of Kanye, like, once Kanye signed with Yeezy, his music career slowed down. When Jay-Z, you know what I'm saying? Jay-Z, Beyonce, when they, you know what I'm saying, really started to make the money that they was making, their music slowed down. You know what I'm saying? It's from what I've observed about things, it's hard to be great at multiple things at one time. So I just had to understand that I got to focus on this at one time, and then, okay, if you, like right now I'm focusing on fashion, boom. Once I get fashion, once I get my clothing line where I want it to be, and once I get a certain amount of clients where I feel like I have control over what I can do. You know what I'm saying? Then I got this under control. All right, now I'm gonna go play professional. I'm gonna go overseas. Like that still be in my mind. You know what I'm saying? But we never know. I don't never know. You know what I'm saying? I don't really think about too much stuff like ahead. I just take things day by day. You know what I'm saying? So that's what it be.
Yeah, that makes sense. I want to learn more about what you want to do after fashion. I know you say you don't think about it too much, so let's take the space to think about it. I'm curious. Like you said, going overseas, playing basketball, that type of thing. But that's a very real thing. I'll just say before we do move on. Like that's something that I've talked to people close to me about. Like they're like, you can't do everything, Nehemiah. Like we see you have passion for making music and for shooting videos and for fashion even, all these different things, but it's very difficult, if not impossible, to do multiple things at a high level. So right now, obviously, fashion is your high level thing, right? And I've never been in this is the first room I've been in with this many shoes. I thought my girl had a lot of shoes. And I've seen this on TV, but it's crazy to be here in person. I feel like I'm on set of Complex, the joint where they do that, whatever Joe Fresh Goods, whatever his name is. Yeah.
No, that's crazy.
I'm gonna interview that man one day.
Yeah, he crazy.
I'm gonna say it right now. I'm gonna interview Joe Fresh Goods one day. I'm going to interview him. We'll put that on the record. But yeah, man, I wanna, like after this, and not to rush you to that. I know people are like, what's next for you? What's next? But let's not think of it as like, what are you doing next? But just like, what do you dream about in terms of your creative career?
What I dream about? So right now I do a lot of things for my clothing line right now. You know what I'm saying? But I dream to just be a creative director for my brand. Like
for your brand?
Yeah, for my brand. Or for another big brand. I'll do that too. You know what I'm saying? If
like what brand? Like Nike? Or is that too generic?
Nah.
That's too generic?
Yeah, that's
you thinking
too
more foreign, like overseas?
Yeah.
What's your top, like maybe 3?
My top 3?
If any of these people sent you emails like, we want you to creative direct, you accept them immediately.
Creative direct. I would creative direct for Maisha Mahara. I like Maisha Mahara. I would creative direct for, let's say, I like Maisha Mahara. Y3.
Y3.
Yeah, I like Y3. And I would creative direct for Amy. You listed 3 I've never heard of, which tells me I'm not in the fashion world the way I want to be. That's dope. You have pieces in your closet from these places? Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
That's dope. So tell me more about like, so I know you said that when you got to college, you started dressing and stuff like that. People started noticing. But like, how did you learn about the world of fashion? Because you said you always had, like in middle school, you was putting the jackets on, the shoes as much as you could, but who were you looking at? How did you learn about what was cool, what was not, how to be different, what everybody else was doing? Were you on YouTube? Were you reading magazines? Like how did you consume all of this and get to where you're at now?
Pay attention to athletes.
Athletes, okay.
Athletes got the most money.
You said that earlier.
Yeah. They got the most money, so, and most athletes got stylists, believe it or not. So, these stylists, they shop overseas, you know what I'm saying? So by them shopping overseas, they bringing stuff that's not gonna be in until next year. So, you know what I'm saying? And I follow pages like Pro Trending, League Fits, and this one NFL page, you know what I'm saying? And they tag the brands and stuff like that. So I just simply learn like that. Or I love when like fashion weeks come up because I watch all the fashion shows, you know what I'm saying? And that's how I get ideas, and that's how I just know what's up and coming and things like that. So that's how I just get into it, man. I'm a student of fashion, you know what I'm saying? And that's why, like, I could have been had a clothing line, like, you know what I'm saying? But, you know what I'm saying? I felt like I had to groom myself more about fashion. I couldn't just come out with some shirts with a design on it, though.
Because it would have showed.
It would have showed. It's like, bro, like, what is this? And then you come up, then you want to introduce a piece to somebody like Shay or PJ Tucker or Offset, and then it's like, these are people who into fashion that have high quality pieces.
Right.
They don't want to wear that. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, so it's just about just studying fashion, man. I feel like any profession that you're doing, you have to study. Because if you don't, you'll put out mediocre work.
So your textbooks are other athletes, these pages that take their fits, put them on, you can study. What does that look like now? Because you said back then you were, following these athletes and stuff. Is your study routine a little more robust now? Like, are you on YouTube, like looking at different silhouettes and like combinations, looking at these different fashion houses and the way that they design? Or is it just like you just be on Instagram still like you were back when you were a kid?
I mean, I still do it, but it's more complex now. Like, I be on a lot of high fashion. Like, I be on Instagram just looking at like Celine, Y3, Rue. I love their layout. I love Celine's layout. So I just get different ideas and different inspirations from different pages. And then, like, I'm a creative director too, so I'm not just like creating pieces or styling pieces. I'm actually like creating the layouts for my brand and for my websites and things like that. So I look at a bunch of I look at a lot more stuff than I did when I was like younger, but I still keep up with the same routines that I had. I just enhanced them. I just added more things to that. Yeah.
Is that because now you have your own brand, so now you're not just looking at the pieces and what goes together, but everything surrounding it, like how the social media page posts, what posts they're making, how to make a website, because you said you made your own website, right?
Yeah, I made my own website.
All of that, like you have to not just study fashion, but also how to have a fashion brand.
Yeah.
And do you think that from that, you will learn more about fashion just from looking at more of the things surrounding the clothes themselves?
Absolutely. You will learn a lot more about fashion if you look at the things outside of fashion. You know what I'm saying? Like, me personally, like the things that interest me the most is like backgrounds and aesthetics. You know what I'm saying? So if I know that I can increase my level of aesthetics from just like a graffiti wall to a more modern background, like, you know what I'm saying, downtown Atlanta or Rome or Italy or something like that, then it'll be way easier to put a nice a piece in front of a dope background versus just putting it in front of a graffiti wall.
It makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, for
so
sure.
You're thinking, again, going back to experience, not just the piece of pants, but what experience and world are we creating around this that makes people want to buy mine over those?
Exactly.
That makes
exactly.
sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense. So then what world are you creating with Von Oliver? Because you talked about like just the love and passion part, and that makes sense from like a standpoint of what you're doing and like what you're pushing. But like, how do you want people to feel when they wear your stuff?
I want people to feel expensive. I want people to feel high end, and that's what my aims is for my brand. It's just not my brand. I also have a co-owner named Vonnie, his name is Von. That's why it's Von.
Gotcha, that makes sense. Now I was wondering where the Von came from. Okay.
Yeah, his name is Von. Yeah, so and then I have two other people. His name is Dorian. Then another woman. One woman. Her name is Ari, and they both do a great job of fulfilling their roles. So
what are y'all's different roles?
Vonnie, he more so handles the financial analytics. Dorian more so handles the marketing schemes of things, and me and Ari just focus on the designs and the layouts and just the pieces at hand.
And they work remotely.
Yeah.
And then you're doing all the physical stuff, so designing, fulfilling orders.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Dang, that's a lot.
Yeah, but it's dope though.
So you're the main leader with all of this. Like you have the vision, the ideas and stuff. Absolutely. And then you go to your team to help execute.
Yeah, and
Gotcha.
It just like I have say so, but like I'm not closed minded to where like, yo, this is what we're doing and I don't want to hear nothing else. You know what I'm saying? I have great people on my team that if I come to them with an idea and they like, yo, Martin, nah, that ain't it. It's like it's probably might be hard for me to say it because I feel like I study fashion, but I'm just not gonna be closed minded to their opinion because it's not just my brand, it's theirs too.
So how does that work practically? Because for someone like, and I definitely relate to that, like someone who knows what they want, you're gonna do it regardless, like you said earlier. How do you balance that with someone who comes and is like, that's not a good idea? How does that feel at first when they say something like that? Like if you're like, bro, I got this new idea for this cardigan, it's gonna be green, it's gonna have all the letters on it and stuff, and then Dorian's like, I don't think that's gonna work, bro. Like, what's your reaction to that?
Well, like, let's just say, like, it's so dope having, like, let's just say, use Dorian as an example. I would come to Dorian and be like, all right, Dorian, this is what we're doing. I got this green cardigan. And Dorian might be like, I don't know. I tell Dorian, like, yo. But then Dorian just being in charge of the marketing skins, he'd be like, okay, well, bro, I trust you. That's your lane. I'm not, you know what I'm saying, in charge of the designs. So I'm gonna just believe, I trust you. Okay, boom, we good. Now, when it comes to Ari is, you know what I'm saying, the female version of me.
Gotcha. So y'all work more closely with the design part of stuff?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and she'll be like, nah, Martin, like I have certain pieces that I know, like regardless of what anybody say, like, yo, this is gonna work. But then, and those are the pieces that I'll present to them, like, okay, we coming out with this. But I also have pieces that be like, yo, how y'all feel about this? You know what I'm saying? Like, I like it, but I might be on the fence about it. So how do y'all feel about this?
So you're already going in more open-minded.
Yeah.
Like, I think this will be cool. Let me hear y'all's thoughts.
Yeah, for sure.
Gotcha.
But I definitely still have pieces that's like, no, we have to come out with this. Like, I just
because you know.
Yeah, I know.
Like, you're the subject matter expert when it comes to fashion, what's gonna work, what's not gonna work, and all that.
Absolutely.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense.
It's dope though. That's the funnest part about it, is picking out the pieces and just styling everything. It just, you know what I'm saying, coming up with the designs and everything. That's the funnest part.
What's your design process like?
Picking out the pieces, deciding on what goes on what.
Well, how do you even get there? Like the ideation process of like making something, like we keep going back to the green cardigan because that's the one that sticks in my brain the most. Yeah. But like for all the pieces, like where do you start? Do you like look at other stuff and you're like, that's cool, we'll take all of that and make something? Do you just go off of your brain? Like how do you draw with the pen and paper? Like run me through the whole, like from brain to in hand. What does that look like?
So everything comes from inspiration. So I might be seeing something at a fashion show and I'll be like, dang, that's dope. Okay, I'm gonna keep that on mind. Or I might see someone on a rapper or an athlete. Okay, boom. All right, so, you know what I'm saying? I can kind of gravitate towards that piece of one of my collection. Okay, I'm not going to get that piece, but I can, you know what I'm saying, do my research on something similar to that. And then once that, okay, boom. So I know I have to make my piece different. So let me add my own design to it. I do know how to draw, so I sketch out all of my pieces.
Did you learn how to draw in school or you just practice?
I just grew up know how to draw. Like, I just stopped drawing when I started playing basketball. So I just picked up a pencil and, you know what I'm saying, I just started sketching everything again, and it helps everything. It helps so much better when you got everything sketched out. But yeah, and then once I pick out the pieces, and once we pick out the pieces and we pick out the designs for the pieces, you know what I'm saying, it's yeah, we send everything over to the manufacturers and the vendors and we handle things like that. And then after that, it's more so us in question, what type of models do we want to advocate our pieces in?
So. And does that depend on like what feel you're trying to go for with a certain collection, as far as the models that you select?
So I keep my feel the same. I keep my diverse, whether it's Asian, Korean, African American, Caucasian. I keep everything. You know what I'm saying? I don't want a certain race to only feel like they can wear my clothes. Right. You know what I'm saying? That's why if you go on my page, I have Caucasian models, I have African American models. I'm coming out with an Asian model. I'm coming out with a Korean models, Mexican. You know what I'm saying? Hispanic models. So yeah, I just, you know what I'm saying, try to keep everything diverse. I feel like that's the most professional thing.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So we go from brain to paper to manufacturer. I know that there's a lot of smaller steps in between, but I'm curious, like when you go from your design to manufacturing, like how long does that cycle take? Because I know it's never the first one that comes back, you're like, oh, this is perfect, or is it? How does that work?
It depends on how experienced the manufacturer is.
So like, what do you have to give them? Do you give them like patterns or like materials? Like how does, like when you go from design to like getting it made, what's that in between look like?
The in between might be, okay, I want this piece. Okay, well, they'll send me all of the color palettes that they have for the piece.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? They might send me the color palettes. They might send me the different types of materials that they can make the piece in. Okay, so I want this. Okay. I want this color pattern. I want this material. Okay.
So you give them color, all that stuff, shape, and they go back with different patterns, like swatches and stuff, so you can feel it, see how different colors fit together, and then you send that back, and then they make it.
Yeah, exactly.
Gotcha. Yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, it's dope too. Just seeing something come to life is just the best part of just being like self-invested. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's shooting this and then editing it and watching it, you know what I'm saying, or working out on the move and then actually doing it in the game is just the productivity of just the outcome is just the best part about it.
Yeah, because it takes a lot of practice. Like, especially you as an athlete understand that. Like, just the hours you spend in the gym doing something over and over and over and over and over, and nobody's watching. And all they see is when you do it in the game, they're like, oh, snap, like, that was hard. But they don't see all of the work that happened before then. So for you, like, you're not even really concerned about the moment as much as you are feeling good about all of the work that it took to have that moment. So that makes a lot of sense. For this collection that you did, how long did it take you to make it? From start to finish, ideation, designs, manufacturing, going back and forth.
Start to finish,
and getting
it probably took me about, I want to say about like 2 months.
That's it?
Yeah.
From having all of the clothes in bulk in hand and ready to ship, 2 months.
Oh, to ship? Nah, it took about 3.
Still, like,
for all of the pieces, yeah, it took about 3 months.
That makes sense though, because there's different seasons of fashion, right? Like fall, winter, and spring, summer, that type of thing. So that makes a lot of sense. So does this fall into any of those categories, or are you just going on your own schedule?
As far as what?
Like spring, summer, fall, winter, like aren't there traditional like seasons for fashion where these houses drop collections?
Yeah, so most of the time, a lot of clothing lines, they come out with a fall, winter, a summer, and a fall, winter, a summer, and a autumn.
Gotcha.
So yeah, but what was your question again?
I was asking, does your brand follow that schedule, or do you just make?
Yeah, my brand follows that schedule for
Okay.
sure. Yeah, my brand definitely follows that schedule. Like right now, I'm working on my summer collection. Yeah, so the summer collection is almost done.
So you're almost done designing, or almost done getting it to you?
Everything.
So the designs are done.
Yeah,
they've been sent to the manufacturer, and then you've gotten the swatches back, and so they're producing it now.
Absolutely.
So you're just waiting to get it.
Yep.
Gotcha. And when is all that dropping? Do you have dates or anything yet?
Yeah, we got a couple dates. We just not sure on. You know what I'm saying? We still just trying to make everything make sense. But it's gonna release pretty soon though. Yeah, because you know what I'm saying, I feel like there's a time period on when every drop has to be just so that you're prepping for the next drop.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like we dropped in February. You know what I'm saying? And
It's March now.
yeah, we dropped our spring drop in February. You know what I'm saying? That's because if you buy these pieces right now, you'll be able to wear them in spring, which is
Gotcha.
March and April. And then by March and April, you're getting ready for the summer. After March and April, you're getting ready for the summer. So yeah, it's pretty simple if you just do your research, you know what I'm saying, and just stay down, you know what I'm saying, and just don't buy into all the negative things that come with it, because there's gonna be negative things that come with it. That's what people don't tell you. Like you might reach out to a certain rapper or a certain athlete or a certain entertainer, and they might not respond to you, or they might tell you, oh yeah, I'm gonna wear it, or they never wear it, or they might tell you, you're gonna get, you know what I'm saying, they might tell you that they're gonna meet you here, and they don't meet you there, you know what I'm saying? Those are just the cons of being self-invested, you know what I'm saying? You're gonna have to reach a certain level to get the respect from everybody, you know what I'm saying?
What's been one of the most memorable, disappointing situations, if you don't mind sharing?
What's one of the most memorable
disappointments? Because we always talk about like, what's some of your favorite like moments? What are you most proud of? But I feel like we don't talk enough about the stuff that doesn't work, and people just assume that there's only good moments. For sure. So like, what's something that you can easily look back on that's like, I really wanted that to work and it didn't, and now that you're past it, you see what it did for you.
Not selling out. Like I always want to sell out.
What does that mean? Explain a little bit more about what selling out for you means.
Like when I say sell out, I be want to sell out all my pieces like the first day or two.
Gotcha. So I thought something different initially. You know how people say like, oh, that rapper sold out.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking initially. But not selling out, selling the whole collection out.
Selling the whole collection out.
Gotcha. Okay.
Because I know there's people doing it. And I get inspired by people who do it. So if I know that he's doing it, why can't I do it?
Gotcha.
So that's what keeps me going. That's what I'm like, okay, it ain't sell out this time. I know it's gonna sell out this next collection. You know what I'm saying?
But in the moment, it's disappointing. Because do you expect it to sell out?
For sure. Because of the feedback that I get from it. You know what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
But you gotta understand, like when you doing something with your name attached to it, or just being a self-invested in anything, you have to understand like it's two sides of it. It's people who really gonna back up what they saying, and it's people who not. You know what I'm saying? It's people, you might, like let's just say a rapper, right? You might be rapping something, you might show this rapper your song. Okay, bet, I can't wait till that drop. I'm gonna support it, I'm gonna post it. As soon as you post it, Ain't nobody posting. They ain't reposting it. They ain't supporting you how they was. It's just the reality of it. You know what I'm saying? But I don't let that get to me. I don't, you know what I'm saying? Because it's my passion. I do it for fun.
Right.
I don't care if I get paid for it or not. I'm still going to do it because it's what I love to do. You know what I'm saying? Making a living off of it is just a plus in my eye. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, that's the most disappointing thing is not selling out after I feel like I should. And I feel like I am.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
That makes sense. But it's going to happen. It's going to happen. Absolutely. Because you want it to happen.
Yeah, for sure.
That's all you need. That self-belief.
Yeah.
And that self-belief will help you push past every barrier to get to that goal, is what I'm learning.
But I do have like way more like wins than losses with it.
That's great. I love that.
Absolutely, for sure. Like the relationships that I've created with people, I do have great sales with my clothes. You know what I'm saying? It's just like not up to my standard that I wanted to do, of course. But yeah, the relationships that I create off of my clothing line that's the dope, man. That's one of the dopest parts, man. You know what I'm saying? And people just getting familiar with your brand. You know what I'm saying? Because for a minute, people just knew me as who I am.
Right.
But when somebody can just, oh, that's that Von Olivier, like, okay, nah, that's dope. You know what I'm saying? It make you feel good because it's, you know what I'm saying? It's just not you. It's your brand. You know what I'm saying? Somebody probably not even know who I am, but they know my
the brand.
You know what I'm saying? And that's the best feeling. Yeah.
Man, there's someone out there, I already know, who's watching this, who's like, I see what this man is doing. I want to do that. I'm 15. They've been, clowning this t-shirt brand. I have a t-shirt brand. How do I go from t-shirt to that? What would you say to that person? 15-year-old that's like, I want to have a successful brand that stands out. What does it take to create great clothes and to push out clothes that people want to wear?
What does it take? I would say that it takes time, first of all, because you can't do nothing that you're not knowledgeable of. So, you know what I'm saying? First, you have to gain the knowledge. And gaining knowledge takes time. I started Von Olivier in 2021.
Von, hold on, pronounce it again. I want to make sure I'm pronouncing it.
It's called Von Olivier.
Von Olivier.
Yeah.
So not Von Oliver.
Nah.
Von
People
Olivier.
think it's Von Oliver because my last name is Oliver.
Oh, yeah.
It's
I see now there's an I.
Yeah.
Von Olivier. I said it wrong earlier. My bad.
Nah, that's
Von
cool, bro.
Olivier.
Yeah.
But continue.
But I started Von Olivier in 2021. Me and my homie was just playing Von. We was just playing the game. Like, bro, he telling me like, bro, we need to do this. Da 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 da. I'm like, okay, bet. So we started it, and we was just coming up with the designs, and I never had the courage to put nothing that I was coming out with out because I'm like, nah, bro, this not it. I'm not putting this out, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? People already like gravitate towards me the way I dress, so I feel like it would be a letdown to me and to everybody who supports me if I just put out like some, you know what I'm saying, anything. You know what I'm saying? So I just kept waiting and just kept like just gaining knowledge about everything, and then we released some hats, and they did pretty well on sales. Yeah, we sold out of all of them, and then we just released this. So
the hats were first.
Yeah, the hats were
and then
first.
This collection was next.
Yeah, but this was
when did you start that?
2021.
2021.
Yeah.
So you haven't even been in, it looks like you've been in this for like 6 or so years,
that's
bro.
what people always
like
tell me.
The quality of this, like I know what it takes, and I can tell that like there was thought behind this. Like you actually care about the craft of what you do. Like I haven't even seen the other pictures, but from this, like I can, like you care about this and you study, and it shows.
Yeah, for sure.
Definitely shows. So time would be one.
Time would be one. Patience would be another. Cause you're not gonna get the result that you want. 8 times out of 10, it's people fortunate enough to drop something and it blow up. You know what I'm saying? That's just the society that we in, just because of the platforms that we have available to us. You know what I'm saying? So, but patience, man. That's why a lot of people fail, because of patience. A lot of people don't got patience to do what, you know what I'm saying, some of the stuff that they want to do in life. And that's why it never happened. You know what I'm saying? So just being time, patience, and thought. Actually put thought into what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? Like I just said, it was plenty times that I wanted to put out some of the designs that I was making, but I just knew it wasn't time, and the stuff that I was making wasn't it. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I just stopped. I just continued to do research and continue to study on my craft, and once I did so, it allowed me to just elevate to a new level. You know what I'm saying? Because it's one thing to meet me and say, yo, I got a clothing line, boom. But then once they like, you know, when people say, first of all, everybody got a clothing line in Atlanta. Let's just get that straight.
That's why I smiled when you said it.
Man,
that's
bro.
why I smiled.
Everybody
man, you
got
run into
clothing
somebody in CVS. Bro, I like your fit. Oh, yeah, bro, check out my clothing brand.
Go on now.
All right, bro, I'm going to follow you on Instagram.
It ain't none but trucker hats and
the same pattern, bro. The ones that look like this, and then with the camo, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, for sure.
The orange camouflage and the regular camouflage. For everybody gets their blanks from the same place.
Yeah, for sure. So it's crazy.
And embroidered it back, bro.
Yeah, it's crazy, bro. Like,
I be wearing them though, I can't lie.
Yeah, for sure.
Be wearing them.
Yeah, I wear it sometimes too, for sure. And some of these high-end brands, like, what's crazy is some of these high-end brands be doing the same thing. It's just they already got their name established so they can do whatever they want with their brand.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And those do work. Like, I'm not trying to like downplay all of like the business model of that and stuff. There's McDonald's, right? And then there's Ruth's Chris, right? There's just, it's two different markets, right? Yeah. And you're in the Ruth's Chris domain, right? When it comes to fashion. Yeah. But both work. Both work.
But in order to even be McDonald's or Ruth's Chris, you have to establish yourself as enough to take somebody serious, you know, for somebody to even eat your food.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So basically, yeah, like that's what it is, man. Just put some thought into whatever you're doing, man. Like, cause that's the biggest thing. People only gonna take you as serious as you take your brand, as being like an entrepreneur in today's society. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's the biggest advice I would give to anybody that want to start anything up. People only gonna take you serious as you take your brand.
That's great advice.
Yeah, for sure.
Last thing I want to touch on before we wrap up is just what it's like being an entrepreneur, you know? Like, we talked a lot about the creative, but we talked a little off camera about what it's like just being a businessman, like being in business for yourself. What is that like? Coming from professional basketball, you got checks from them, right? Mm-hmm. So you don't have those anymore at the moment. So now you're doing everything is on your shoulders. So what is that like?
It's harder than what people think it is. Like, people think
It's harder.
Yeah, for sure. Like, for sure. People think because you don't work a 9 to 5 that all of your time is just available. Like, that's the biggest misconception that people have on entrepreneurs, bro. Mm-hmm. Like, just because you're an entrepreneur don't mean that you're a boss. You know what I'm saying?
Say that 3 more times.
Yeah, just because you're an entrepreneur don't mean that you're a boss. Yeah. It's a lot of people who are entrepreneurs who still have to answer to somebody. You know what I'm saying? Real stuff. So
how do you go from being someone who answers to someone to being a boss? What's the difference to you?
Say that one more time.
What's the difference between being an entrepreneur and not being a boss and being an entrepreneur as a boss?
I feel like the difference between those two is simply I'm the boss. This is my brand. I do what I want to do. And the difference between okay, let's just say like this, right? You can be a upcoming editor, or, you know what I'm saying, a person who, you know what I'm saying, make beats or whatever the case may be. You know what I'm saying? You editing for someone. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Or you making beats for someone. Right. So you kind of own their schedule. Yep. In a sense. You know what I'm saying? Versus if this is my clothing line, everybody else is on my time, or, you know what I'm saying? So I can
following your vision.
Following my vision. You get what I'm saying? So everything is, you know what I'm saying? So that and people think that comes with less responsibility. No, that comes with more responsibility. You know what I'm saying? Because when stuff isn't going right, it's all on you.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? There's been times where I was going through something in my life and I kind of like lacked focus. But then I had such a great team. They just came to me like, Martin, bro, this, you know what I'm saying? We with you, but this only go as far as you do. So whatever you're going through, bro, you need to, you know what I'm saying? You got to snap out of it. And that's why I'm so thankful of my team. You know what I'm saying? And you need a team, for sure. Like, for sure. We just had a couple talks off camera. Mm-hmm. I was telling this guy, bro, like, bro, you too lit, bro. This is the best videographer in Atlanta, bro. Too lit, and too lit.
Thank you, bro.
To not have a huge production team and multiple, you know what I'm saying? So, like, yeah, for sure. Like, you know what I'm saying? You need a team, bro. And a lot of people, like, be feeling so independent in life that they don't understand that. Like, I'm about to get an assistant. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I was telling this man off camera that I just got an assistant and it's changed my life, bro. changed my business life. Like, I don't mean that lightly. I know we're talking off camera, but just being able to offload the stuff that you don't want to do, or even that you're not good at, that just emails, scheduling stuff, producing for films, like finding locations and finding talent. I hate that, bro. I hate it. It's so boring, but it's necessary. So I do it because it's necessary. Now that I have my assistant, I don't even like to call her an assistant because I feel like that word it doesn't describe everything she does because she's like my right-hand person. But she does all the emails, calendar, stuff like that. But just having another brain to think through stuff with, to just offload this stuff. And she's great at all the stuff that I don't like doing or that I'm not good at. So that complementary relationship helps a lot. So yeah, bro, the book that I was reading, Buy Back Your Time, I'm going to stop saying that name because that man is not paying me. But I'm going to say it because I want y'all to succeed, not this dude. But hey, I do want him to succeed though because he's helping me out. So I'll say it with no problem. Buy Back Your Time by Dan Martell. That is changing my business entrepreneurial life. And it's not like I had to spend a bunch of time doing it wrong because I left Google and then started and got the book pretty much right away. So if I didn't have that book, I would be very confused on like, from the business side of things, what I need to be doing. Because we're great at the art. I'm great at directing. You're great at styling, fashion, all of that, right? But when it comes to being a business person, that's a whole different art. That we're all kind of just, what do we do, you know? So that's part of the reason why we're doing this, right? Is to give some people some direction, creatively and entrepreneurially, right? And that book is doing that for me. So every person I talk to, if you haven't read it, you have to read it, bro. It's very easy to read. It makes a lot of sense. He talks about like putting a list of all the things that you do that is important for your business and you rank it and figure out what you like doing that makes you a lot of money, what you don't like doing that doesn't make you any money, you give that to somebody else. It's very clear. So I say all that to say, get an assistant as an entrepreneur if you can. And everyone can afford an assistant. They got virtual assistants in the Philippines at like $5 an hour, bro. Like it's nothing. It's pennies. So
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so look into that for sure. But I wanted to hire locally just to like help people that I'm around, like build relationships, but there's nothing wrong with that either. Like you can afford what you can afford, right? So it's all possible. So that's my spiel for the podcast. I always have one spiel at least, but that's the one. I'm gonna leave it there. But yeah, man, what I like to ask, or I guess what I started asking at the end was, if you had a megaphone, you was in front of the entire world, everyone, and they had to listen to you, what would you tell them?
And they had to listen to me?
What would you tell them?
What would I tell them? First of all, I would introduce who I am.
Okay. That's the first time I heard that. I like that.
I got to introduce who I am.
Yeah.
Because that's what this is about. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm up here because I want y'all to know who I am. That's first of all. So first I would introduce who I am. And then what I would simply just tell them is, I'm coming. Simply, like, man, I'm coming. Like, I feel it. I know it. I know it. I'm coming. And just wait and see. I'm coming. Just wait and see. And I probably would just drop the mic or something like that. Like, real, like, bro, like, and I don't mean to sound like cocky or nothing like that or arrogant, you know what I'm saying? But man, bro, like, I just, like, what's crazy, bro, like, I have this yay persona, bro, like, you know what I'm saying?
I think that's important, though.
Yes, bro.
A lot of us had to, this is going to sound crazy, we have to find our inner Kanye, bro.
Yes,
our inner
bro.
Ye.
Yes.
Not the craziness, but the one that's just like, this man, if there's anything that you can say about Kanye, is that he believes in himself, bro. Mm-hmm. He believes in himself, and nobody can take him off of that. Man. He's probably the most narcissistic, prideful person, and that's probably where he is, among other things, working hard and stuff. For sure. But I agree with that. Yeah, I agree with that. Find your inner Ye.
Find your inner Ye, man. You find your inner Ye, man. I know y'all saw that documentary. You saw the documentary?
Yeah, I did. I loved it. I loved it. That's why I record everything, bro. That's why I got cameras everywhere.
Yeah, bro.
I'm recording my journey because I believe I'm going to be there too, bro.
Come on, man.
I believe
me? All the stuff that he went through, how much perseverance he had, bro. Yeah. How he never once cared about what nobody said and how many no's he got. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, bro, all of that stuff counts when you want to be great. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like some things are just meant to not be explained, just to be showed. You know what I'm saying? Mm. So that's why I just like, man, I'm coming. Like, just watch and see. Like, I can sit up here and I can give y'all this, and I can say this, and I can say that. I can give y'all my pitch, but what good is my pitch if I leave the stage and then I don't do nothing? Mm. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, bro. Like what would you say?
Man. Oh, shoot. He turned it back on me.
I had to turn it back on the one time. What would you say?
Shoot. If I had a megaphone, I could talk to everyone. Man, I would say really care about how you treat the people around you. That's really, really important to me right now. Everything. Like personal relationships, my relationship with my girl, business. Everything. I care about how we are treating each other. Because all of this stuff is cool. All the stuff we're doing is cool, right? It's great. But at the end of the day, we're working with people and we have relationships and interact with people. And if we're not treating people right and valuing life and relationships and just wanting to impact people in a positive way, what are we doing it for? Because, I mean, Shannon Sharp talked about it. That's the dude that be loud on the, wear the glasses. Yeah, I want to make sure I got his name right. He was just talking about that. I don't know if this interview was recent or not, but he was saying how, like, he never got married because he knew where he was going. He knew what he wanted. He knew he wasn't going to have time for that. So he was just building his career, right? Through sports, all that stuff, right? And he said, looking back, he regrets it now. Like, he doesn't have anyone to share what he's built and done with. And at this point, it's just kind of like, I mean, he'll find it eventually, I'm sure, if he wants it, but it's just kind of like, and it's never too late. But I'm just trying to say, like, both are important. Like, what you said about having that confidence in yourself and saying, I'm coming, that is super important. And I'll come with the yang, you got yin, I got yang, right?
For sure.
Like, relationships are just as important. Like, making time for the people around you and treating them right. Because when you get to the top, you want people that you can trust with you. And you want to be able to impact people in a positive way.
For sure.
You know? Because you got tens of millions of dollars in the bank, nobody to enjoy it with, and nobody to really impact with it because you cared about the numbers over the people in the world, you know?
Yeah, that's deep.
So that's something that I really focus on in everything that I do. That's another reason why I'm doing this podcast, is just to, like, when I meet people, I'm like, I care about you as a person and what your journey is enough to want to sit down and learn more about you and put it out into the world for free so people can become better people and better humans through what we're doing, right? So that's what I would say, but I would say it in less, no, I wouldn't. Let me not lie on the camera. I was about to say I would say it in less words, but Lord knows, bro, I talk a lot. I can talk a lot, so.
So how do you feel like the crowd will react to what you said?
Everything I just said?
Yeah.
That's a great follow-up question. I feel like some people will like it, other people will be like, no, about this money. I just mixed reviews, you know?
Yeah.
I feel like that's how it is with any opinion. You know, if you had the whole world in front of you, I feel like it would be 50-50 regardless of what you say.
Sure.
Because people are going to believe what they believe. They have their own life experience, and I feel like we should be empathetic to that, because if I went through all of your life experience, I probably would think and do the same things you do. So whether they're right or wrong, I can at least acknowledge and respect the fact that you're just trying to do your best like everybody else is, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
No, that's real.
I feel like people would look at you, though. It'd probably be, to be honest, it probably wouldn't be 50-50. It'd probably only be a few people that are like, I see it. And everybody else would be like, what is this nigga talking about?
It'd be quiet. Nobody would clap, nothing.
Yeah.
But
like
it would be okay because people will remember that. I would be the only person to go up there and do that. Nobody, and that would be probably the most memorable thing. Probably one of the most memorable things. Like, yeah, some guy who just came up here and said remember him, but we'll see. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
Okay, bet. I remember that. A few months later, oh, this the guy that came up on the stage and said that. That's why he said that. And that's what I do it for. You know what I'm saying? I'm coming. I know I'm coming.
I believe you, bro.
Yeah,
I mean,
sure.
you're already here.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not up there anymore. It's in the PlayStation turned off, but I think that means it's time to go. So, yeah, man. Martin Oliver. Appreciate you, my
Appreciate
boy,
you, brody.
for welcoming me into your space.
Know that, man. Anytime.
I know it's very personal. So I appreciate you welcoming not just me, but everyone else.
Yeah, for sure that, man. Anytime,
this will be the first of many conversations.
Yeah.
Because we didn't even talk about designers. We didn't talk about Virgil, nothing.
Yeah,
Virgil is
yeah.
someone I really look up to. I
Absolutely.
mean, you got the
Virgil
off-white, wet grass
Yeah.
on the floor. So I feel bad stepping on it with my shoes. But, you know.
Oh, that's cool.
So you'll be back.
Yeah, you know
But
that.
thank you for being here. I'm glad everyone got to get introduced to you. So we'll put your Instagram on the screen and all that stuff.
For sure.
It was already on the screen, but go ahead, drop it
Located in Atlanta too, man. So if y'all want to work, y'all want to connect, y'all want to network, anything like that, man, I'm here. Open arms too. I don't want y'all to think I'm just, you know what I'm saying, closed-minded. I'm here. And I'm new too. I just moved here too. So let's get it going. Let's network, man. Let's build.
All right, bro. Appreciate it.
Appreciate you, bro.
All right, y'all. That was episode number 4 of the Rags to Richness podcast. I truly hope y'all enjoyed and or edified in any way through this, whether in a small or really big life-changing way. My goal is to do that in every single episode, is to touch at least one person and give them some motivation or direction on this crazy creative entrepreneurial journey that we're all on. If this helped you and you know someone that this can help, someone that this will be relevant to, share it. That's all I ask. You don't gotta subscribe to me. You don't even gotta like the video. I know that's gonna do good for YouTube's algorithm. I don't care about that. I know this is going to reach the people that it needs to reach through us, through you. So if you can think of someone that this will be directly helpful for, go ahead, press the little share button down below, copy the link, text it to somebody, email it if you have to. And help join this movement of us creative entrepreneurs
this morning, I'm
making more sense of this
bed,
life.
Man, I cannot stress. To
day
the
by
closet,
day.
got my Sunday best.
I'll see y'all in
It's not
episode
Sunday, I just
number
like the
5.
dress. I think
Have
I'm
a
hot, man, I
beautiful
must confess.
day,
So I don't care if you are not
evening,
impressed.
morning.
Self-driven swag
I'll
is
see y'all
all
in
time
the
to
next
miss. Stop all that hating, you look a mess. Woke up this morning, I'm feeling blessed. Stepped out the bed, man, I cannot stress. To the closet, got my Sunday best. It's not Sunday, I just like the dress. I think I'm hot, man, I must confess. So I don't care if you are not impressed. Self-driven swag is all time to miss. Stop all that hating, you look a mess.